giving you the real from A to Z surrounding the Dallas Cowboys. News, updates, rumors, transactions, takes, and more. So strap up, Cowboys Nation, and start your day off with A to Z Sports. Live with Will Steele.
3, 2, 1.
Here we go. Good morning, good people. Welcome to A to Z Sports Live, presented by the Cochran Firm and Boston Scientific. We're streaming live on YouTube and Facebook, and of course, not a big boom today, but I am your host, Will Skywalker Steele. You don't get a boom today. We can't give you a boom, and I'm fighting through it. If there was a day to call in sick, literally, it'd be today. But I say this all the time: win, lose, draw, I'm here for it all, Cowboys Nation. As the Cowboys season comes to an end, man, comes to an end in San Francisco on what was a bad showing for Dak and this offense, and will most certainly continue the conversation. And can they get over the hump? We got another 8 more months of this. So let's take our time here. Today's conversation, without a doubt, though, and I'm pretty sure for quite some time, will be centered around Dak Prescott. So let's just attack that thing head on. And if you want to call into the show to talk about it more, we can. 351-999-3787 is the call-in line. If you hear my voice all crazy and you're wondering why I wasn't here last week, it's because I'm still getting over some respiratory issues, but I pulled enough through yesterday to hit Texas Live up, watch the game and whatnot, and started out fun, started out cool. Shout out to the Niners, shout out to the Niner fans there. They were better this year than last year. It was packed down there. Didn't end it terribly, and it actually didn't. It started okay. I shouldn't say it started out fun. It started okay because you had the early interception, and then the touchdown and missed field goal, and another interception, and things just started to get weird. And you just saw, and we're talking about Dak here, you just saw him never get comfortable. You just saw him kind of what looked like the San Francisco 49er game of last year. Also, shout out to D'Amico Ryans. He's going to be a head coach somewhere. And with the league trending towards offensive-minded head coaches, there's something about how D'Amico Ryans had those guys playing, and throughout the year, not just yesterday, throughout the season, that I think his scheme can translate. But we'll see. We'll see. That's neither here nor there. We'll take a look at the film and see how it played out. But it seemed like once again, man, he just had the better of Dak. He just had the better of Kellen in this game, and we couldn't overcome it. And then the opportunities that we used to talk about that we hadn't talked about a ton this year. When you get into these type of games, there's going to be opportunities. There's going to be about 4 spots where you got to make it count. You got to see it. You got to hit it. You got to catch it, whatever. And we missed those. The deep ball to Michael Gallup at the end of the game. The interception with Trayvon Diggs. And then back to the offense side of the ball. The pass to, which I don't know how the hell he got it to CeeDee Lamb. But he got it to CeeDee Lamb. But there was T.Y. on the opposite side, like almost literally 5 yards to the other side. Probably walks in for a touchdown. You got to hit those spots. The fourth and goal one. Right, you're not really moving the ball that well. You get down to the goal line, you score a touchdown, tie the ball game up. Instead, they elect to go for the field goal. These spots, right? You have to hit them in these games. I don't even care about the L at the end of the day. It's always about how do we get to that L, and the way they got to that L was so ugly, right? I said this for the Bucs game. I'd rather them talk about the ugly win, right? And the bickering of why you won. For instance, say Tony or Turpin scores a touchdown. Defense gets a stop, turnover, whatever, kick the field goal, you win. I don't care if they talk about how bad the game was, because you won and you advanced, and you're going to have these type of games. But it comes down to at the quarterback position, especially when Tony Pollard went out. I felt like this was a game where Dak could have really put so many things to bed when Tony Pollard went out? Can he carry a team that may not be, one of them ones in regards to that specific type of talent? And you had opportunities in this game, and he came up short again, and the conversation will roll. And we're getting these callers coming in, so we're going to get a handful of more, and we'll have the conversation. We'll talk about it. And listen, we got weeks, we got months, we got a long way to go here. The offseason is here. I'm not as down as maybe you might think, because coming into this season, I thought the ceiling for this team was the championship game, and they had an opportunity to get there. It didn't happen, so they didn't fall from what I expected to happen with this squad. But it sucks because you had the opportunity to get there. Like, this game was winnable, man. This game was absolutely winnable, and they lost it. And it sucks, Cowboys Nation. Absolutely sucks. But we do got to get to the roundup. We do have some news coming out of that. Obviously, the Tony Pollard injury, some J-Ron Kerr stuff, and then we'll kind of briefly go around the league. We'll just talk about the championship games and see where these matchups are at. So let's do that real quick. Come out, hit these phone lines, and try to get out of here without losing my voice or something crazy. All right, let's do it.
It's time! It's time! It's time!
It's time. It's time.
It is time for...
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Hey, yo. Well, the Final Four has been set. Get the Chiefs-Bengals rematch, which, man, I can't wait for that. Just as a football fan, again, removing my Cowboys fandom and just football fandom, this is going to be an exciting championship Sunday. The Bengals beat the Bills 27-10. They're probably having different conversations over there in Buffalo about Josh Allen, who very similarly had a very almost similar year in regards to Dak, and divisional round exit, not a great divisional round game, turnovers, a lot of turnovers this season, but they made plays. But that's a conversation they'll probably be having over there in Buffalo. But for the Bengals and the Chiefs, this is 5 years in a row for the Chiefs, man. I expect them to be in this game, it seems like, every year. For the Bengals, we're getting to that point now because Joe is one of them ones, and I feel like they'll be there. They just look like they were on a mission yesterday, just clicking. Just everything looked so smooth. They ran the ball well. They schemed up things well, and they looked like the best team yesterday. Probably the best team. I'm not saying they are the best team in the AFC, but with Pat Mahomes getting injured, which absolutely sucks. I hated that for Pat Mahomes. There's a chance that I think the Bengals walk away with this dub. But again, that's next week. But they beat them like 3 times in a row anyway, so they seem to be their kryptonite. On the other side, the Eagles just demolished the Giants, and honestly, I never really gave the Giants a chance. We wanted the Giants to win this thing, but the Giants had no business being there, man. They just had a good draw in round 1. Philly gets a good draw in round 2, and now they get a heavyweight matchup with San Fran, who's, I think, defense is going to challenge them, but I think the difference with the Philadelphia Eagles are going to do than what we did, they'll challenge San Fran deep. I don't think we did that enough. Their scheme is that's integrated in their scheme. They're similar in a sense with San Fran. They'll get some deep overs. They want to play some mind games with you from a schematic standpoint. That's not necessarily what the Cowboys do. And again, we'll probably break that down a little bit more. But by the time we started to hit deep or go deep, it felt like it was a little too late. And you never took San Fran out of their comfort zone offensively because you weren't scoring points on your side of the ball. And I think that, I hate to say this, man, but I'd give Philly the edge in this one because I think they have the scheme to test that defense, which is a great defense. Just a matter of the Brock Purdy, Kyle Shanahan offense. Can they score enough points to allow their defense to still play fast? So it'll be a good one. These championship games, I think, are going to be good. Sad news coming out that game, and I saw it immediately when he got tackled. I did not feel good about it. I think they need to outlaw this tackle. I don't know why they didn't do it after Dak Prescott's leg got broke. I thought they did. Maybe I'm wrong. But Tony Pollard suffered a fractured fibula, and it'll take about 3 months, I think I heard, for him to recover. And this just sucks for TP. Career year, Pro Bowler, was your most explosive weapon on offense, and you knew when that happened, I figured things would get tough for this offense, but damn, right away, like the next play, I didn't see that one coming. Tony Pollard got taken down with one of those, swung his legs, pulled him down, fell on his leg, and fractured his fibula. And that, the pit, if you could feel how I felt when that happened, I said, oh, shit. That means Ezekiel Elliott is going to be the guy for the remainder of the. And I was worried that we wouldn't make any changes offensively to combat that. And I don't know how many changes you can make, but we didn't really adapt. And you saw it, right? When TP was in there, it wasn't like he was ripping off 10-yarders or anything like that every play, but he had 8 touches and he averaged over 4 yards per touch. So he was the guy against a good defense that was giving you something. But once he went out, the run game was absolutely gone. Tony Pollard and Dak was the run game. They had 42 or 44 yards at that point in the game when TP went out. They finished with 76. That just goes to show you that without Tony Pollard, you could pretty much forget about the run game. Now, they could have did some things to offset that, and maybe they tried to with some of the short passing game, but it got to a point where San Fran was like, oh, they're not finna run this ball. They're not finna run it well, and they don't got the guy that we fear most running the ball anymore, so now we can make them one-dimensional, and that's exactly what happened. In the very next play, interception, tries to fit it in. Looks like Lamb, again, I don't have the actual tape just from the broadcast view, sat down in the zone. I don't know what the opposite concept or the concept on that side was, but Ward peeled off, came down, made a great play on the ball, didn't see Ward, tipped it right into Fred Warner's hands, and stop me if you've heard this before, tipped interception. Some odd plays later, they get a field goal, go up 9-6, I think it was, at halftime. So that was a key play in the game. A key turning point in that game there was Tony Pollard's injury. You know the domino effect, the butterfly effect. I feel like if he doesn't get hurt, he just gets up. Maybe you run it again. Maybe that doesn't happen. You don't know. But that one right there, Tony Pollard going down, just felt like, okay, this is going to be even harder than we imagined. Jaron Kearse came out of that game. I mean, he was already nicked up, but it came out that he was dealing with fluid in his knee and his calf. I don't know how the hell he played with the MCL sprain, and now he needs shoulder surgery for a torn labrum, which he was quietly playing through for several weeks. We knew that Jaron Kearse was dealing with something. We just absolutely knew he was not out there playing at the top of his game. Am I? Check. Check, Mike. Check. Okay, we're good. That was worse. We knew that Jaron Kearse was not healthy, but he was your leader on defense. And when guys like Jaron Kearse go out there and play through these things and play particularly well, like Jaron wasn't the Jaron of last year, but he played well enough for you. And there was a point in time I was wondering, man, is he too banged up to look at for the future? But they only signed him to a 2-year contract, so he'll be back next year. I think it's a good thing to have him back next year. We'll have a lot of conversation in the offseason about guys leaving. That safety room could look a little bit different, not a lot different, a little bit different because of Donovan Wilson, who's been my guy since he was drafted. Love Dono, but I got a feeling that they'll roll with Kearse and Malik. Another conversation you could have there. And then they'll bring Israel McQuamu, and you got the cat from was it Florida A&M. So I think they'll roll with that. But I would approach Dono, see if you can get into a similar deal as you got Hooker and Kearse, because I think it's important to have those if Dan Quinn is the defensive coordinator. That, my friends, is a whole nother discussion. Something that we talked about in the post-game show with Jesse Alley last night. it feels like, especially after this game where the defense played really well, man. I mean, you can't really say anything about this defense. The only thing you could say is, the Trayvon Diggs series, right? Where if he makes the damn tackle on Kittle, maybe he knocks the ball out. If he gets the interception, now you're talking about the score still being tied as opposed to them scoring a touchdown. But other than that, I can't really be mad at them. I thought they pressured Brock Purdy. I thought they confused him a bit. I thought they did fantastic against the run. I don't want to call it a hot take, but it was a part of our segment last week where I said, I personally think this defense was equipped to deal with their offense this year. I just did. I felt good about the speed of the defense. I felt good about Dan Quinn learning from what happened last year. I felt good about this pass rush, and I felt good about going up against Brock Purdy, who is a rookie quarterback. He didn't score a touchdown, but he also didn't make mistakes. But he didn't do anything really to make their offense put you out of reach. So I got to give kudos to Dan Quinn and his defense. Felt good about that. What I didn't see coming was the offense laying a stinker of 12 points. And we came into this matchup, into the playoffs saying, can we get 4? 4 games, not just 4 to quarterback. 4 games of not just clean football, but the bag. The bag being whether it's the quarterback being in his bag, whether it's the offensive coordinator being in his bag. We hadn't really gained that trust quite yet that we can get 4 consecutive games of that. And we came off of a high, right? A really good game against Tampa where we saw concepts, we saw great quarterback play, and we're like, can we get that again? This is against a better defense, not expecting a perfect game, but I said just half of that from both, from conceptually and the quarterback, and it didn't happen. And I don't even know if you needed to have a perfect game, but you couldn't have a poor one, and that's what happened, and that's why the Cowboys are at home, in my opinion. Well, at least one of the main reasons why the Cowboys are at home, in my opinion. All right, I'm going to lock these up. We're going to try to get through all of these. Lines are absolutely stacked right now. So let's go ahead and get into these Pulse of the Nation hotlines presented by the Cochran Firm. Since 05, our guys Larry and Brian. And Brian, if you're listening, man, it's a tough one. And I know Larry happy as a mug. He's a Washington fan, I think. But they've handled the most challenging civil cases involving personal injury, wrongful death, fraud, truck, and automobile accidents, which are a lot of those in Dallas. If you've been involved in any of those and need any type of legal assistance, the Cochran Firm will help you out. They'll fight for you. They've been doing that for a very long time. Hit them up at 1-800-THE-FIRM or get your free consultation today at CochranTexas.com because Cochran cares. And I'd be remiss if I didn't start this off with, because I feel like, and tell me if I'm wrong here, Toxic, but my guy Joey made a very good, Joey Ikes made a very good tweet this morning. He said, some of y'all spent the last 12 months waiting for the last 24 hours so you can say you were right about some flaw with this team. But he said head coach, he said quarterback, head coach, OC, DC, et cetera, et cetera. So this is your time. And I'm not doing any of that. This is your time, Toxic. Take it away, sir.
Good morning, Sky. I just wanted to first get out a good job covering the game last night. I just want to say the A to Z squad did a great job covering this season, so I want to give you flowers right now. And,
we ain't done, but thank you.
I just want to give a hand to Jerry Jones and his immaculate plan to start this year and how everything that people said in April came right to fruition. I'm not going to attack Dak Prescott. He's the product of a system that clearly cares more about cap space than improving the actual roster. I couldn't sleep last night, so I rewatched last year's playoff game, and wow, it's the same exact game. And you saw how one coach is able to adapt to the game and, get things corrected, and how another coach who is bulletproof will continue to make the same mistakes over and over again because he's empowered by a man that cares more about his ego than actually winning. This season, if you look at it from a grand scheme of things, look how the Cowboys entered into this season when they had more talent last year, and look how the teams that are remaining in the playoffs attacked the season. Jalen Hurts was an awful quarterback last year. So what did the Eagles do? Did they talk about his cap space and how they can't give him help? No. They went out and they traded and they attacked in all phases of the game to improve their team.
Sure.
And I look at the Cowboys and I'm seeing the same old angry Jerry bit. We saw this last year, the same exact time. Cowboy fans, don't fall for this unless I'm at the point where this same TV show has to stop at some point, where I keep hearing this man.
You just got to turn off the TV show.
And the TV show is run by a circus orchestrator who is the ultimate salesman.
Yeah, if you're waiting for the TV show to change, you're probably better off just turning it off.
At this point, and Professor O made a really great point about this already in the chat, I'm really going to see how interested this team really is about winning of what they do with Zeke, because Zeke isn't worth anything that he's getting paid right now.
Notice I didn't bring up any other player because I know what today's conversation is about. Today's conversation is about Dak Prescott, but the Zeke conversation it'd probably be for some point in time.
Fair.
But you're right. I mean, he seemed to just skate by this season, but it is what it is.
And the whole thing, I'm not going to attack Dak Prescott because I don't know what you want Dak Prescott to do. He's Tony Romo 2.0. You give him all the excuses in the book. You give him a terrible offensive coordinator who will probably be a head coach of this team because no other team's going to want him at some point. And you are expecting him to play hero ball every single day.
Well, what about, instead of saying attack, I hate to use the word attack, right? But today,
you're right.
What about accountability? Because I think he absolutely takes a brunt of the accountability last night. Because look, whether it's fair or not, Toxic, we've had this conversation for months prior to the season. It's going to come down to him being able to overcome all of that. And I know your favorite line is it's not going to happen in regards to like the coaches overcoming the front office, players overcoming the coaching. Fair enough. For us diehards that are here every day, we have these intricate conversations. But for majority of the fan base and football fans, that stuff doesn't matter, right? It's about, can you overcome it and get it done, whether it's stacked against you or it's not stacked against you. And there were opportunities in that game for it to happen, man, and he didn't do it, and he looked like he was just he wasn't confident, he was uncertain, he was shook. Right. Like DeMeco Ryans felt like had his number in this game. And I mean, I don't know if you called in last week when I said this or whenever it was. I was like, it feels like when he gets to this point, like when the offense gets to this point, we don't have anything to kind of shake us up and get us out of it. We don't have a play or a package or what have you to say, hey man, let's turn to this and get going. Where I looked across the aisle or whatever you want to call it, the field, and I'm like, man, their offense did not play great. Like they just didn't. Mm-mm. But when they needed it, right? They absolutely needed it. They had packages that said, "Oh, I know this is going to work," and boom, Christian McCaffrey first down. Ayuk, boom, you get him lined up on Anthony Barr. That just wasn't the case for Dallas, and you needed Dak to kind of rise up and just make something happen, and he didn't in this game. So I do think he needs to be held accountable a little bit here.
And to look across the aisle, to me, you're looking at a tale of two cities almost. I look at the 49ers, and if I'm the owner of the Cowboys, I would say, how do I get that on my sideline? How
100%.
do I get a guy that is so good at scheming that I can literally hand him anything? I mean, that's a Jerry Jones wet dream. You can be cheap, and you get a guy that knows how to use stuff. That's what Jerry wants, right? Yeah. I don't understand at what point are we going to stop trying the same old stupid plan and look at the teams that are actually winning and go, how do we be more like them? And it starts with the man that got the first press conference and did that little charade of how he was upset. If that doesn't change, I just feel like we're in the exact same spot as we were this time last year. And that's probably the worst part of it is that I can deal with down seasons and stuff, but when you are seeing the same results over and over and over again, brother, you got 4 playoff wins in 27 years. You're the problem. Until that happens, I feel bad. I'm glad that Dak Prescott is the professional that's not going to be the excuse maker to go, well, my owner did this. Dallas is lucky to have Dak Prescott, that he's a professional like he is, because I don't know if some of these younger fans remember the Quincy Carter, Chad Hutchinson, the quarterback carousel days. If we lose Dak Prescott, I know for a fact our front office is not capable of either bringing in a free agent quarterback or getting lucky again. I can't have faith in it. So I hope this offseason is different, where we're not bringing in garbage free agents like, other than Ryan Nall, of course. We're not bringing in garbage free agents like James Washington. And we are literally looking at this. We have tons of cap space. How do we go for it now? Instead, we're probably going to hear the same old, let's talk about cap space. Oh, our quarterback, big piece of pie, like no other team is doing. So younger Cowboy fans, I'm really sorry that you have to put up with this. It is true that this team for a long time ago was cutting edge and was great. It's just plain sad what this team has become now. So other than that, Sky, thank you for coming in and not calling off a sick day, and have everyone else have a great day on to baseball season.
Thanks, Toxic, man. Good stuff from Toxic. A lot there, and me and Toxic are in the line in regards to the off-season stuff, and a lot of that was off-season stuff. But that, that's a point that about getting another quarterback, right? Again, lots of Cowboy fans ready to move on from Dak Prescott. Listen, it's okay to come here and talk like that. I say this all the time. I understand the frustrations. I'm not going to fight you on your opinion or what have you on it. I'll debate you when it's what's worthy of a debate, depending on what you're saying. But you want to move on from it, that's cool, right? But do you trust this front office? And when I was putting together when I used to do different type of like documentary videos, and you research more things, it's like, do you really trust them? I mean, these dudes that wanted Connor Cook, Paxton Lynch. They wanted these type of guys. These are the dudes who, the two franchise quarterbacks that they have fell in their laps. One as an unrestricted free agent, thankful to Sean Payton, which is another conversation. And the other 4th round pick, which they did a little bit more work for that one, but it's still 4th round pick. I don't know, man. I don't know that I trust them, but so now the question is, do you want to live? And I'm entertaining this idea because it's not happening this year. Maybe it happens in 2 years, what have you. But let's entertain it. Do you trust them to make the right decision via the quarterback? Right now, it ain't happening. Like, you're not getting a quarterback in the top whatever picks unless you're going to trade away everything. Oh, but wait, they don't like to trade away picks. Yeah. So now, do you say, okay, do we risk sucking for 2 or 3 years and hope they land the top pick and what have you and acquire that? Well, that will require 2 to 3 years of sucking, then getting the quarterback, and probably another 2 to 3 years of figuring that out, because as we've seen, Miami, the Chargers, it's not always going to work that way. Buffalo. Well, Buffalo took some time too. So you're talking about another potentially half decade or so of figuring this thing out, and maybe that doesn't work. Or do you say, listen, man, we know what we got. We got to tweak some things. Let's go all in, another offseason conversation, and try to do this thing. If it doesn't work, we'll blow it up. Y'all know what I want to do. I've been trying to go all in forever, but that's not what we do. That's not what we do here. So now it's about, okay, the cue that you do have, whether it's fair or not, I need you to rise up. And he didn't yesterday. There is no getting around that. He did not. So when these questions and these concerns and these frustrated fans that, again, have been waiting 12 months for these 24 hours to do this, I get it. It didn't happen. This is what you were waiting for, and it's here. And so this is your time. This is your time, and I understand. Los. What's up, man?
Yep. Good morning, Sky. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Man, hey, there's not a lot I can say here that will change about how we perform or help me cope with this loss.
Therapy session, man. It's therapy session. We talking it out this morning.
Yeah, but this team has underperformed in the biggest stages. And it's not how we lost, Sky, but it is how we lost. Yeah.
Yeah, you're saying it's not that we lost, it's how.
Yeah, it's how we lost.
Yeah.
There are too many times, too many question marks, like if this would have happened, etc. Why couldn't we play our brand of football and live with the results of our best? However, we live with so many questions about our system, about our quarterback, who's going to be running the ball next year. And prayers to Pollard, man. I hope he gets better. You know,
Yeah,
he
sucks,
he does deserve it back, man. Prayers to him. But it's one thing to show respect to the team, but it's another to be afraid to go at them. And that's how I feel Dallas attacked the 49ers.
Very well put.
Just jabs, but never combos or uppercuts of haymakers, you know? And cornerbacks driving to the football was insane. But that might be because they actually knew what was coming right off.
100%.
You know, and it's no secret. I never liked Kellen Moore or how he got into that primetime position of his job. However, this game is leaving me questions about that, and that's very concerning because one thing, your quarterback should be the reason you drive a team to win, which he showed at times, Scott. Don't get me wrong, but his consistency of this year of everything has to be perfect is not just – it just makes me feel stuck and immune to this feeling of just letdowns.
So
and I truly
that part
go
right
ahead,
there, you
Scott.
said the consistency of every. What do you say? Can you say that again? I'm a bit confused. What do you mean by that?
The inconsistency of everything have to be perfect is like
what do you mean by that? Because nothing was perfect
like
about this offense.
Yeah, basically he has no weapons, you know, like nothing, you know. Well,
oh yeah,
he
CD
relied
Lamb,
on
Tony Pollard, you know, Dalton Schultz. I mean, there's weapons there.
I'll say he had weapons, but like, my bad. Let me revert this.
Yeah.
If he had like, I'm just saying like, if everything has to be perfect in the scheme for him to be 100% running it, because if the scheme is not clicking, if it's like, because I feel like this game where we attacked from the scheme point was nowhere where we attacked with Tampa Bay last week, you know. And
there's no doubt about that, but. I mean, things were not perfect this year offensively. You might have had like 3 games: Tampa Bay, Minnesota, Chicago, right, where it was just flowing like that throughout. But for the most part, this offense has been, all right, man. You got to kind of get it through the mud. You're going through some adversity, whether it be an interception or whatnot, and they've usually come out on top for the most part going into this game, 9-3 since he came back. The difference was you didn't finish in this one, right? Like you didn't. It was very similar to the game last year where you just couldn't get anything going, but you had a chance to finish and you couldn't finish. Because like you said, how you lost, right? Like if you went down there, scored, got the lead, and they came back and won, it's a different story. But you had the opportunity, even within the game being muddy, the game not being perfect, you still had those out. All I needed was one drive, right? One drive, and we're talking about, all right, we got the ugly W, let's move forward. It didn't happen.
Yeah, and one thing that's very unforgivable, like, is the interception in the red zone. You just can't do that. I don't know what happened there, but yeah, and I'll leave you with this, man. Shout out to you, Sky. You know, everybody in the YouTube community that covers the Cowboys, Vouch, Law Nation, all, you know, what's his name? Dang, I forgot.
Everybody, man. It's
everybody.
Yeah.
And, you know, to cover this team, but damn, this one does hurt, especially when you had the best opportunity to come out the NFC. And I can't root for any NFC team at all, but you have to show the GM's respect on how they built and added pieces to make their team competitive. And, Jerry, you can say sorry all you want, but, man, time, you know, time is undefeated, man. So, hey, that's all I got to say. Peace out.
Appreciate you, Los. We are 100% rooting for the 49ers. Right? Like, I understand old school fans might look at the Niners as, you know, the Washington football people. Maybe younger fans might look at them like Green Bay. I don't know. But there's not a chance in hell I am rooting for the Philadelphia Eagles or not rooting against them. So put all your might with the 49ers, goddamn, to beat Philly. When it comes to the Super Bowl, I don't care who you root for over there, but I don't want to see Philly. Come on, man. I need them to join me in this misery here. There's no chance. B, what's good, B? Hello? Hello?
My bad, G. I accidentally muted the phone.
All good.
My man, what's been good with you, folks?
Hey, man, I heard from you about 2 times this year. Always good to talk to you. Wish it was under better circumstances, though.
Oh, man, man, I just been working, man. But I took the next day off, man, for work. I was like, man, I got to be able to call in and talk to my dog regardless of how the game is, man.
Oh, yeah.
Everything been good with you?
Win, lose, or draw, here through it all, man. Everything been good. It's been a good season professionally. Lately, though, been a little sick under the weather, but I said I got to be here for our Cowboys therapy session no matter what happens, win or loss, especially after the loss. I know a lot of fans, we want to get it out, so I had to be here, man. So I'm here. What's up with you?
We appreciate you, my G. Man, I'm going to get right to it, man. I'm not as disappointed or down as I was last year, and the reason why, man,
Mods, do your job, Mods. Do your job.
I was consistent with the approach that me and you talked about earlier in the off season was just enjoy the season.
Week to
Too
week.
many times last year, man, I wasn't in the moment. I didn't enjoy it, and I felt like with the moves or lack of moves that was made in the off season, I felt like this team was playing with house money all year. And that's the approach I took, man. I enjoyed this season, just watching this team play. Half the time I thought they was going to lose. And I tempered my expectations until I was like, okay, so they're going to be in the playoffs. Okay, now it's like, all right, but let's just watch and just enjoy the season, man. And that's what I did, man. And it allowed me to be able to swallow this loss better than I did last year. But when you look at it, bro, the same way that the Cowboys season started is the same way it ended. And the offensive production or lack thereof, the passing game, it looked just like it did in week 1 against the Bucs. Am I tripping?
I compared it to what it looked like against San Fran last year, but the Bucs game. I mean, I don't think you're far off. I don't think you're far off.
Yeah, man. It's just crazy, man. And you sit back and you watch it, and it's just too bad. The defense. I haven't seen the defense put back-to-back games like that in a couple weeks, bro. And
yeah, the only thing that they didn't do that usually is what they do is get the ball.
That one drive, man, where they just got out of character, and Diggs dropped the pick.
That was the
if
one.
If he catches that ball, it looked like it was nobody over there. I'm like, I was thinking touchdown as soon as it hit his hand.
Well, he'd have got a return, and that maybe give you some mojo, because did you notice, like, there really wasn't any moment in the game after the first half, really the first touchdown, where there was a kind of a spark play. Yeah, a sack might have happened, a tackle for loss, but I'm talking about like a spark play up until that 40-something yard pass to CD Lamb.
Yeah, man, and you know what? I was disappointed in Kellen. It seems like this is a recurring theme here. I was disappointed when you lose a guy like Tony Pollard. As I was expecting him to do. This is the Turpin offensive game, and we never saw it. You lost speed and explosiveness with TP. This is a game where it's like, okay, now let's see that package that you've been saying you have plays for with Kevontae Turpin, and it never happened.
I don't even know if he said it. Yeah, that was terrible. Not using him this year.
You didn't even get him in the game to just see if you can clear somebody out and run a deep over route underneath him. It was just no creativity as usual. And it was just like, damn, man, we can't keep having Dak throw these interceptions on 5-yard button hooks. On that 2nd and 2 going into the half, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, what kind of concept? I was like, oh, never mind. That's Scott Linehan, 5-yard hookup. Scott always talk about it. These button hooks, man, and usually that's what gets Dak in trouble. Them button hooks over the field, over the middle of the field, or late to the outside.
Because teams are sitting on it. I mean, teams are going to sit on it. So I'm going to wait till the film come out to really talk schematically, but we can watch and see that there wasn't the things we wanted. Again, we talk about bringing the bag B. I don't know how like often you've been watching, but we talk about bringing the bag you had in 1 week to the next game. How much play action did y'all see in this game? I didn't see a play action ran under center, bro, until the touchdown at the end of the half or whenever it was in the second quarter. And then I didn't see it again until sometime in the second half. And I'm like, what are we doing? I saw a ton of
Exactly.
of shotgun runs. I saw trying to be cute with Tony Pollard with these. We don't need to be cute with Tony Pollard. But I said, you know what?
Nope.
Today's going to be about Dak Prescott, so I'll stick to the Dak Prescott thing, and we'll look at how we ran certain things. But hearing people that was there in the press box saying there wasn't a whole lot of downfield concepts, which shocked me because in the pregame show I said it was two things I saw on film against this 49ers defense from the Raiders and the Seahawks: play action and deep ball.
And deep balls.
Like attacking the secondary and getting those linebackers off their spots with play action works. And it was like, nope, let's spread it out. Let's run shotgun and let's hope that, D'Amico Ryans doesn't have our number and Dak Prescott makes the right read right away because he ain't going to have a ton of time to be trying to get through everything with Nick Bosa on the other side in the pass rush. And it played right into their hands and he couldn't elevate his game within that game. Here we are, B.
And it sucks, man, because I was sitting there and I'm just like, damn, man, I wish they stay in two tight end sets. They're having success out of this formation, just out of this personnel group. Just switch up the formation out of two tight end sets. And what pissed me off, but it was kind of true. I went to a 49er bar out here, bro. I didn't care. I was on enemy territory. And they said something at the end of the game, but it's probably true. We probably win that game if Cooper Rush plays. Not because Cooper Rush is better, but because of the type of game plan that he would have if he played.
Interesting point.
And that's the game plan that you would have needed to beat the 49ers because you know what? That's the game plan they used against you. I don't believe Brock Purdy played great, but Kyle Shanahan did not allow Brock Purdy to lose that game for them. And that was the difference. I wanted it to be Dak Prescott versus Brock Purdy when it counted. But instead, it was Kyle Shanahan versus Kellen Moore. And I know they kind of go hand in hand, but I think you understand what I'm saying.
I think I get the gist of what you're saying here. And that's kind of what I opened up the show with, or opened up I think our call or somebody else's call. And what I talked about with Jesse last night is, you look on the other side of the field and you say, I want some of that. I want that type of scheme where I can lean on it no matter who my Q is. Yeah.
That's the scheme. That's when you know you have a scheme in place. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with, man, I know it's a ton of people that got to get in.
Yeah, we got a handful.
All I heard after the game was the Cowboys didn't have enough playmakers. They didn't have enough playmakers. Well, the playmaker that you needed last night, he was in Cleveland. And I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to be tapping in with you more often, off-season talk, man. But you know I ain't lying, Scott. You know I ain't lying. He was in Cleveland.
All right, B. Appreciate it, big dog.
It's always good catching up with you, my G.
Yes, sir.
My man.
The funny thing about it is, yes, it'd be nice to have Amari. Still could have won that game. Yes, it would have been nice to have better schematics. Still could have won that game. I mean, I'm not going to shake the fact that there was still opportunities to win that game. Dak just didn't rise to the occasion. I mean, anybody that's been here for watching me for a year or whatever it's been here, I've been saying the same thing. You got to overcome all that, bro. You just do. And if you can't, one or two things have to happen, because I said this before. This Kellen and Dak Prescott thing, it's reached its limit. Something's got to shake. So the question now becomes, as Cowboys fans, let's just talk about it as Cowboys fans. You want to move on from the Q? You want to move on from the OC? You move on from both, a little bit more risky. Because some people like both, some people don't like both, some people like one, not the other. I don't know. It's all over the place with our fan nation. But I think this duo it just can't, man. It just can't continue. I don't think there's any more juice to squeeze out of this duo. And yesterday I talked about when I look around the league, for those who, and this is fair, I'm not trying to come at Cowboy fans that are focused on Cowboys. You're a Cowboy fan. But when you look around the league, me personally, yes, go get me, if they choose the correct one, another OC to squeeze a little bit more juice. Because I look around the league, I saw what Dayball did for Allen when he came in. I see what Ben Johnson has done for Jared Goff. You know, I've seen what Andy Reid did for an Alex Smith and all those other quarterbacks he's done it with. Hell, Baker Mayfield goes to the Rams and has a few games, right? Like, I've seen coaching be able to squeeze things out of veteran players, veteran quarterbacks, right? So I'd be more inclined to do that than try to search for another quarterback. Just with this franchise, by the way, who wanted Connor Cook and Paxton Lynch, drafted Stephen McGee and Mike White, you know, that fell to their last two current franchise quarterbacks. So a lot to take in, man. A lot to take in. We'll keep it moving here. Let's get to Shavance and then a couple callers. I don't remember the numbers quite. What's up, Shavance?
Hey, what's going on? I got to tell this to everybody. For everyone that says, oh, we needed Cooper, we needed this guy, we didn't need anything except to use the guys we had right. That's true. That's the truth. We had all the personnel we needed. We played in my opinion, we played a bad game, and we were one score away from beating the Niners. So I was like, imagine this with me. Flip coaches. Kyle Shanahan's our coach for that game. What happens?
Bro, the confidence I would have had going into that game
them out.
with Kyle Shanahan is totally different.
We will stomp them out. Oh, my God, it's not even close, and I can tell. So, I'm really sick of this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm done with the Kellen Moore experiment. Here's the problem. When you don't run, then your defense has to go back on the field. And there's another problem. The defense is at fault, too. How did we get here? Our defense had the most turnovers. They had 33. Right behind them, they were right behind us with 30, but they had a better differential. So when you go into a game and you turn the ball over twice, your defense has to do what got you there and get you the ball 4 times on a muffed punt and 3 opportunities to make interceptions. When you go 1 for 4 on your opportunities to get turnovers, that's what got you there. And that's why you did. As soon as Diggs, that was the third one. I even told my buddy before the game, I said, yo, Bland's going to have one, Wilson's going to have one, and then Diggs going to have one. Bland dropped one, Wilson dropped one, and then Diggs dropped one. And I was like, oh, my God, that was the game. Like, all of them were important, but that last one for Diggs, as soon as that happened, it was demoralizing. And then we have the penalty because we're tired when they're probably thinking we should be off the field. They get the penalty, they get another penalty because they're tired and they should be off the field. Now they're demoralized because it's 1st and goal from the 3. Then the touchdown happens. You get that pick, none of that happens. None of that.
Yeah, I think if you get that interception, you go down, get some points. Hell, if you score a touchdown, we're probably talking about it. We're probably talking about this game in a way that Bengal fans were talking about beating the Tennessee Titans on the road, right? Where it was like 19-16, ugly game. Quarterback didn't play well, but the defense got 3 turnovers, and they got the turnover that mattered, the drive that mattered, kicked the game-winning field goal. Instead, you couldn't win an ugly one. And we said you were going to have to win these ugly ones in the playoffs, right? During the regular season when they were winning ugly. So I didn't care if they won ugly. You just had to win.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who needs to hear this, though, but I keep saying it. Dak Prescott is Dak Prescott, okay? That means, what did I say before? 16 to 26 passes a game. He might be the best quarterback that ever lived.
No,
that window.
Stop it.
He might be in that window. He might be the best QB that ever lived.
Stop it.
You get him above 26, 30 passes, he's average. End of story.
Let's use
look at the stats.
The numbers 35.
Why are you trying to use a screwdriver to take off a car tire? Use your tools properly.
The number's 35. It's not 16 to 26. That's hyperbole.
Well, whatever. Soon as he doesn't need to throw the ball more than 30 times a game. Doesn't need to. Every time I see him throw 26 times, he's like 23 for 26 for like 302 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Hey,
no interceptions.
If ifs were a
why
fifth,
not?
Vance, we'd all if ifs were a fifth, we all be drunk. But you're going to have to throw the ball. Like you're going to have to throw the ball 35 times at some point. I don't. Yes, you do. Like
15 carries for Pollard, 10 carries for Davis.
Pollard got
5
hurt.
carries. There's 30 carries right there.
Pollard got hurt. So listen, I'm not
Then
saying
give
that
it to
they
Davis.
didn't need
They
to.
didn't
I
even use
agree.
Davis.
I agree.
They got Davis sitting on the bench.
They didn't. But the point is, I don't take away the accountability from Dak Prescott because if he throws over 35 times, he's not this or that. So what? He's the franchise quarterback.
Okay,
They are
I'm
going
not-
to throw the ball 35 times at some freaking point in the playoffs. Get it the hell done.
I'm not saying don't take. No. You misunderstand me. I'm not saying don't take away the accountability. I'm like, spread it around. Look around. Everyone wants to just be like, oh, Dak sucks. No. Now, I will say this, and I said it before. Dak still seems to have a problem either with his progressions or throwing the ball early enough. And you would think that would be something by this time in his career he would have fixed. I don't think he's progressed with it enough. And if you do want to have a reason that you say you need to move on because he's not progressing, then that's it right there.
Progressing at what?
That's
I didn't catch that.
That's progressing at like throwing the ball early. Like the ball should be out of your hand before that guy makes his break. And it seems like we're always waiting for the guy to come open before we throw the ball. And then the dudes are jumping the routes and shit. Like the ball has to be there. That's how you do it in the pros. And this ain't college anymore.
Tell him, Shavance.
He was a great college player, but this ain't college. This ain't college.
That's
the
how
ball's
you do it
gotta
in the
be
pros,
there.
Shavance.
The ball has got to be there. As soon as you turn your head around, you shouldn't be seeing the quarterback throw the ball. The ball's got to be in the air.
Yeah, forget what else is happening around him. You're right. Yeah.
No, I mean that shit happens, but I'm just saying, like, if you were gonna have a reason to say he's not the guy, don't just be like, oh, he's not winning, he ain't the guy. That's just stupid. To have a reason, have a real reason. To me,
that ain't the reason.
If that's what you're gonna say, that he's not the guy, that's where I point. That's the real. That's the real reason why I say he's not the guy.
That ain't the reason.
If you were to say that.
That ain't the reason.
If you were to say that.
That ain't the reason.
But he's good enough.
I'm gonna tell you what the reason is, Shavance.
And we were close to winning.
I'm gonna tell you
we could have won.
Exactly, and I'm about to tell you what the reason is. If you want to have a very simple reason, finish.
We didn't.
You just gotta finish in these big games.
I guess my main point is I feel like we were set up for failure, and despite that, we still could have won if we executed enough.
Because he didn't do what, Shavance?
Both sides of the ball.
I'm talking about. We're talking about Dak.
I really feel like everyone's underplaying the drops on defense. That was huge, and that's what our identity is as a defense. Takeaways, right. And we dropped the ball literally on the takeaways. So
sure, but your defense.
To me, that was the key in the game.
All right, man. Appreciate you, man. To me, your defense gave up 19 points. I'm not about to come on here and bitch and moan about the defense. Just not. 19 points. Got you the ball. Well, it was special teams, but got you the ball on a turnover from the. Shout out to Kelvin Joseph. Best thing he did all year. And you couldn't score. Come on, man. I'm not about to complain about this defense. 727. What it is, what it do?
What it do? What's good, man?
What up?
What's poppin'? I'm chilling, man. It's a tough loss, man. I was still gathering my thoughts. I didn't expect to be unmuted this quick, but what's poppin'?
Oh, it's all good,
man.
Buddy.
Yo, Dak last night let it. Yeah. It's all good. Dak let us down last night.
He
man.
did.
I mean, simple and plain. And like your man was talking about those curls or whatever he running, it'd be right in front of his face, yo. Niggas right in front of his face, he don't see it. And he's patting the ball. I don't remember Dak ever pat the ball so much, double clutching. That last or it might have been the first interception, I'm pretty sure he double clutched that pass.
Yeah, I think that's the one where
you see it or you don't.
Yeah, I think that's the one he stepped up. That's why, again, I can't wait for the film to come out to see what the concept was on the opposite side. I am just not a fan of that deep comeback route unless that's your number one read, and I have a hard time believing Gallup was the number one read. If I'm not mistaken, and you can help me, I can't quite remember. Wasn't he? I don't want to say scrambling, but it felt like was pressure. He moved up and he tried to come back to Gallup on the backside. If Gallup is your backside read, why the hell is that a comeback route? And then why are you stopping your comeback route, Gallup? Like, you got to come back. It looked like he was like, all right, one-on-one, Michael Gallup, me throw it up and let my guy do his thing. And then he stopped and shook his quarterback and kind of faded to the back, and now that welcomed the easy pick. And thank God it wasn't thrown, low, or that's a pick six. But, again, I don't know what the concept was on that one. You just made me think about the comebacks and all that stuff.
Nah, let's not concept. What concept?
What the concept was, what is the read? Like, what is the concept on the other side? Is this
I know what you mean. What you mean. That wasn't for you. That was a shot at Kelly. What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Because I watched 49ers when stuff started to get a little tough for them and we stopped the run. I seen them, they designed space. They game plan for that. You know what I'm saying? Kellen Moore, there was none of that. He has no creativity whatsoever. When Tony Pollard went out, keep it on Dak like you. I just can't because I'm tired of just run it up. We done talked about Washington and consistency. Last week I hollered at you and I told you that, you know what I'm saying, Dak might not turn the ball over no more. I thought
week
he was
one
in a zone or something.
The week one in the playoffs, it was fine, but not this one.
It was the level of competition. We didn't see that. We were stuck on beating Brady. You feel what I'm saying? But the whole organization need to take this L and hold it. Because
sure.
I was hollering at your man last night, Law, whatever, and I said, what do McCarthy do? He don't call the plays. He don't call defense. But his arms might be folded right now as we speak. I don't know what's happening. Both coordinators got to go. Just saying, now we stuck with coach.
Well, to stay on your point about McCarthy, that'll be maybe a discussion we'll talk about tomorrow. It is odd that this game plan was strange.
Nobody's seen it.
Yeah, this game plan was strange, and I don't. Do we just say, hey, this is how we gonna beat them, dink and dunk them down the field, and hope not to make a mistake?
Right. It looked like we got scared, especially after Tony Pollard went out. Where was Malik Davis? Where was Damone
bro? He didn't
Clark?
get a single.
Where was Sam Williams?
I don't know. Sam probably got time.
In one place with this shit.
Yeah, man. Sam got time. I ain't tripping about the D, but offensively, I just was like,
defense, they held him to 19.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, this was a game where everybody needed to be pulling out all
Sure.
Yeah. There was no way we needed to lose. Now, I mean, anything Turpin, yo, you owed us a run back.
Bro.
How'd you spin?
Turpin.
Running,
I was so pissed.
Running literally to one side of the field. Run the other way.
Bro, what? I said on Twitter, I said, does Turpin even want to score a touchdown? Like, does he want to really score a touchdown?
Getting up with all this juice. Fuck that juice, nigga. You was brought in to make it to the end zone. You done gave him 2. You done put
Facts.
2 on the ground and lost both of them.
Facts.
I needed that last night. I needed you to be that X factor. I don't even care if he make the squad next year. He did good.
I wouldn't bring him back.
I wouldn't lose him. I mean, he did flip the field. He did put us in good field position. The 2, I tried not to hold it because, shit happened.
He didn't score a touchdown. Like, we're talking about, I don't know how this man made an
thing.
all-pro.
You had it. God opened the fucking seas. He opened the seas.
Oh, man.
Lost my TV last night, bro.
Yeah, everybody was all hype. Hold on. Everybody was all hype about the return. I'm sitting here livid. I'm like, bruh, you see this offense cannot score right now in the second half, and you cut it back in the middle and still spin a Rudy on the kicker? Oh, my God. And the whole people at Texas Live is like, yeah, I'm like, no, he needed to stay outside. What made him cut back? I digress. Whatever, Turpin. But
was literally running towards his man. He was about to run into his man.
He ran into the kicker.
God.
He deliberately, and then he didn't run into the kicker to truck him or juke him. He spun.
He tried to spin off him.
Oh, pro my
Matrix
ass.
Shit. This nigga tried to turn the Keanu Reeves. It was sad. It was sad to see. First of all, niggas is at my head today. All right, I can't even look at my phone for more than 5 minutes before putting that shit down.
Oh, people that hit me up. My DMs. Oh, Cowboy fans flooding my DMs.
Oh my God.
Hey, yo, Nation, I'm sorry. From one Cowboy fan to another. I know what it's like to put your trust in shit. Yo, your man said he was trying to temper his expectations. I felt that. Almost tapped the screen. I felt that, bro.
Real shit.
I tried. Playoffs. We was dancing.
Hey, man, I try to live in the week-to-week mentality, whether it be a win or a loss. I try to I think that's why I'm not as distraught with this loss this year as I was last year, because I really felt like, I think we could win the whole thing last year. This year, I was like, I thought we got the monkey off our back with the road playoff and the Tom Brady. I'm just like, and technically, this is kind of house money to me. But the expectations is the Super Bowl. The expectations is the NFC Championship game. But it just, things I don't want to say got weird, but it just felt like looking around the league, man, listen.
It felt weird because of our quarterback.
Yeah,
the line didn't even let him down last night. Notice nobody's sitting here talking about that. Yes, my man had the 2 penalties or whatever, but there was nothing that we couldn't have overcame. The quarterback didn't have it in him. I tried to listen to his press conference.
Why?
I know what you say. I know what you always say. It's the same shit. I know Boss say the same thing. It's the same. It's the same shit, bro. But I wanted to see him really try and spit that shit out, bro. Last night, I wanted a reporter really to ask him, how you fail like that? You was just saying how you wanted the Niners. Out your own fucking mouth. You said you wanted somebody. You wanted the smoke, and you ain't performed. You straight choked, bro.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm sorry. I ain't going to tie this shit up. I'm sure I'll think about some more shit to say. I hope somebody else bring it up. It was a poor performance across the board. Nobody brought that juice. I don't want to see Zeke in that 1 yard. If you're going to want 1 yard, pay me. Watch that shit put me in. I'm sick of it. Yo. Hey, I'm probably the hottest nigga going to be on your line today, man. Nobody going to spoke, man. I'm sick.
Today probably, but the week maybe not. But I listen. Like I said,
I hope somebody come take it. I hope somebody take the cake, yo. Cause
man.
I appreciate you. Thank you for allowing me to vent. I'm gonna try and get on with my day. Is it too early to drink?
Don't ask me that.
Pouring up. Hey yo,
don't ask
Nation,
me that.
Let's go.
Appreciate you, bro.
I'm listening. Hey yo, have a good day. Everybody be good, be safe. I'm out.
Salute. Good, great call, man. That's the passion right there. And there is some of that in all of us today. 100%. I just ain't saying all of that right here live on air, but I allow y'all to do it. So I said, come on in, man. It's our therapy session about everything. It's our therapy session. Not too early to drink. Shoot, I almost took me a shot to deal with this, whatever I got going on here. I mean, it really is too early to drink. Let's not be alcoholics now. Not be alcoholics. But it is 5 o'clock somewhere. Yeah, I appreciate it. 225. What's goody?
Yo, what's good?
What's up, man?
Hey, so I want to talk a little bit about, Dak and everything that happened. And, I want to say first that, he was the difference yesterday.
Sure.
Dak didn't play a good game. And, before the game, I got a Dallas Cowboy group me I'm in or whatever. And, I asked, I said, hey, which Dak is going to show up? Is it going to be Minnesota, Chicago, Dak, Philadelphia Dak, or is it going to be the other Dak? You know what I'm saying? And the other Dak showed up yesterday.
But you know what's so crazy when you say that? Like, if you think about those games, think about how aggressive we were. Like, the aggressiveness just felt. I would have much rather them say, hey, dog, just go out there and sling that thing down the field. And if you throw picks down the field, you throw picks. But what pisses me off is that it felt like we just got tight. Like, we just clenched up. Right. And when we clinch up, when he clinches up, that means everything has got to be comeback routes and quick out route. Man, fuck all that. Throw that thing.
I feel you.
Especially when Tony Pollard went down and you wasn't going to run it. If he going to throw 3 picks, then throw the 3 picks 30 yards down the damn field or something. But throwing interceptions on a comeback route and a 5-yard stop route on 2nd and 2, come on, man. My bad.
And I kind of feel like Kellen Moore not getting enough heat for how the shit went yesterday. Like, yeah, Dak was bad, but there wasn't enough shots taken down the field.
Well,
honestly, you really didn't get CD cooking until the second half, and you allowed them to take shots in the middle of the field away, and you did nothing about it. Nothing. That shit is crazy to me.
Yeah, what?
Damn, you had Shaw score 2 touchdowns. Go ahead.
No, you're right. We'll probably – this is more about Dak today because it's the obvious, right? Cowboys, he's a quarterback. Dak Prescott, it's Dak Prescott. He's polarizing.
Okay,
but Kellen is we'll continue to talk about Kellen too throughout the week. We got a long week, right? But you're right. It didn't look like conceptually things were the same as they were last week. But
and so as far as that, I know everybody mad right now. I was up last night like everybody else. And once I cooled down, I started kind of looking at the bigger picture. I just want to say this, y'all, because I've been arguing with people on Twitter about this shit. You know what I'm saying? We're not cutting Dak Prescott. That dead cap, if we do, is $89 million.
Oh, that's
so
that's
just not happening.
Yeah.
Right? Also, like, to trade Dak, I don't see that shit happening either. You're not going to trade for a better quarterback. You know who will be happy to trade for Dak? The Rams, Detroit. Like, you don't want a Goff, you don't want a Stafford, because then you're like in a worse situation than you're in. You're not gonna trade for. You're not going to get a Lamar Jackson, a Joe Burrow, a Josh Allen, or a Patrick Mahomes. So like that's not going to happen. And also, even the idea of trading up in the draft, go look at the first round quarterback draft picks from 2010, and tell me how many of them that are not on rookie deals that are starting and that are good. I looked at that list last night. It's a lot of Christian Ponder. It's a lot of E.J. Manuel. It's a lot of Paxton Lynch. It's a lot of those guys, RG3s, that did not make it in this league. So even if you go to the first round and you try to get a quarterback, the chances of that quarterback panning out and being a good franchise quarterback is not high. I think with a quarterback like Dak, that is not a first-tier quarterback, not a Patrick Mahomes, not one of those guys that can just overcome what they don't have on the team, you got to put more pieces around them. And that's getting another wide receiver. That's, finding another running back that can complement Tony Pollard.
So,
and that's also getting probably another offensive coordinator and getting John Kitna back in that quarterback room.
I love that. The question becomes, when it comes to bringing in another quarterback, is do you trust the franchise to do that, to find that? And I don't know if you were on the phone earlier when I broke down the potential timeline of these things, right? You're talking about, okay, you get rid of, we're going to repeat it. Say you get rid of Dak right now. You're talking about likely a 2-year period where maybe 2 or 3 years where you hope to land the first overall pick or a top 5 pick if you're sucking, right? So now you got about a 2 or 3 year period where you got to figure that out, land that pick, because Cowboys don't trade up like that. They don't trade multiple first-round picks to do that type of stuff. That's just not who they are. So, boom, now you get the rookie quarterback. Rookies, 9 times out of 10, it takes a couple years. So you're talking about maybe 5 or 6 years if you don't put
and guess what, Sky?
Those top pieces around them.
Jerry and his son both came on the fan last week and said that he don't have too many moons left. He's 80 years old. He's not trying to wait another 5 or 7 years to get the quarterback situation right.
And that is my point. Are we willing to go through at least a half decade or so of being bad to hope that we are right back in this situation where we're competing for an NFC championship game with an organization who has shown the inability to truly evaluate the quarterback position?
Right. And so I just think as far as Dak and the Cowboys go, the window is now. You got Tom Brady that's really trying to lead the conference. You got agent Aaron Rodgers that can't agree with his front office and his team and is bad for his locker room. You look around the NFC, and arguably Dak is better than the rest of the quarterbacks. Like, there's an argument for him to be better than the rest of them. I mean, Jalen played better than him this year, but generally there's an argument that he's better than Jalen. You just put more pieces around him, try to get some different coaches in there in that offensive room, and you just roll. You roll with the punches.
So I think that's the best thing that the Cowboys can do for Dak and that their chances for win. But the window is now. Like I said, you look around the NFC and you look at the quarterbacks and you see Kirk Cousins and you see some of these other quarterbacks and you say, okay, well, my guy is better than those guys. My guy is better than
But
Goff.
you know what?
My guy is better.
About the quarterbacks, and that's a good point about the specific skill sets or whatever. But I think what we need to understand as Cowboy fans is we've went through 2 top 10 quarterbacks over the last 15 years, right?
Yep.
It's not really about them individually. It's about the situations. And
right.
I feel like those quarterbacks at one point in time or a few years or what have you, they find themselves in situations where the organization just says, F it. We going all in. But one way or another, hook or crook, free agency trades, whatever, and they put whatever it is around them, or maybe they do it like with the draft in regards to the Seahawks. But for the most part, the organization puts all the resources into it, and they get one, or they get there, and then they live with it the rest of the way. That's not how we operate here. So we got to find a way to be able to get it done the way they do it. And a lot of people will argue that's just not going to happen here in that manner. And I kind of tend to lean that way. I'm going to root and cheer like hard every year, but unless we take an all-in approach under the current structure,
right.
bruh, I don't know how this isn't what we deal with every year. And hey, listen, not having an all-star probably didn't quite matter yesterday, but I'm not necessarily just talking about specific players either, right? I'm talking about when you hire your coaches, let those guys do their thing, and you never know, man. Maybe you'll end up in a situation where they prosper for you.
Right. And I also wanted to ask you just about yesterday. I know you said this is about Dak, but on that second down in the red zone, I want to say it was 2nd and 5 near the goal line, when they kind of ran that like toss where they brought Noah Brown across the formation to kind of seal the edge. Do you think that the reason Zeke didn't try to get outside was because he didn't trust his own like burst and quickness? You think if maybe Malik Davis would have ran that or something, he would try? Because if you get to the outside of Noah Brown, like it's open.
That's
you score a touchdown.
Yeah.
And he just kind of like tried to bully his way through between like Noah and whoever the tackle.
Was that the touchdown drive, or was that when we kicked the field goal?
I think that was the field goal drive after Boss Man got the little fumble. Yeah,
I agree with you.
I believe so. Yeah, but I know you'll go back and watch it, but I think that was when that happened.
Oh yeah, I came home. I did not. I got home around midnight. I did not watch the game. I went to sleep. But
I feel it.
Yeah, I was watching that as it happened, and I'm like, man, I agree with you. I think old Zeke would definitely been able to hit that outside, hit a stiff arm on the DB if he needed to, and it's a touchdown. This Zeke, that's just not his game no more. He's just trying to put his head down, get as many yards as he can, and that's that. And obviously that's a conversation that we have got to really have now. The season's over. We don't got to coddle this situation anymore. I don't know how you're watching 21 and you're coming away with, yep, we need him on the team next year.
Right. And like I said, Cowboys Nation, I feel like this is a year-round thing for a lot of us, like the non-casual ones. Like I was in Orange County, August, 90-something degrees, standing on the fence watching them practice against the Chargers. Like I get it. We diehards, you know what I'm saying? But like I said, let's just get mad, cooler head Travell. Sky, I'm about to let you go. Okay. I'm just really curious to see when you guys watch film and break down how they shut Schultz down. So have a good day, and I can't wait to hear what everybody else got to say.
Schultz. Appreciate it. Schultz have... Let me see. Yeah, Schultz. Okay, I see what you're saying. So, yeah, Schultz had the touchdown, but they took away in the middle of the field, essentially, right? That's what they do. But I'm excited to... I hate to say the word excited. I'm interested to watch the film because I want to see if D'Amico Ryans pretty much did what he did last year. It just had a bead on this offense, and you could see them play to that. They play fast to their spots because they knew what was coming type of situation. I didn't hear anybody on the other side of the ball bring that up like Detroit, like the Bucks did. But film should be out here soon. I'm definitely going to take a look at it. I saw a comment that said, this is really weird. Like, are you listening to the show? He says he doesn't understand the Zeke criticism. I don't know why. But Dak gets excuses. Sir, I'm going to turn up your volume. This entire show essentially is dedicated to holding Dak accountable. Like this entire show. And when people are trying to, rightfully so, veer towards, well, what's up with Kellen in this game? What's up with Zeke? Hold tight. We'll get there. But I understand that today, across the nation, is going to be about America's team's quarterback. And I get it. So I'm inviting that conversation. Because he was terrible yesterday. There is no excuses. He had chances to win the game. If you're new here, let me tell you how we do things here. You play bad, call it out. You play well, and I was like, I don't think you can do that. I'm going to say, hey, deserves his flowers. That's what we do here, man. That's what we do here. But there's a sector of this fan base that loves to relish in like Joey said, they waited 12 months for the last 24 hours. They ain't hearing nothing else. If it ain't attacking one or the other, they ain't hearing nothing else. So I said, hey, today is your day. Today is your day. But let's not get away from the fact that there are other things that will need to be discussed as well moving forward for the future of this team. For the future of this team. So if you're new here, Chris or whoever, Skywalker still is not just coming at Zeke and diminishing anything else. Though Zeke and Kellen and everybody else are afterthoughts from yesterday. Point blank period. 203. What it is, what it do.
Yeah, what's up, man? Still, how you doing, man?
For, the way it ended yesterday, I'm doing all right.
Yeah, I heard some people talking about chirping running to the kicker.
About what?
The chirping running into the kicker,
bro.
Man. People. But like I said, some things in sports, it's questionable, man. It's written. That's all I'm going to say. Some things. I've been watching football for a long time. I've seen a lot of questionable things that happen in football, so I ain't gonna get into that. But anyway, Dak, man, he played terrible, man.
He did.
I got to say that I've been one of the Dak defenders and stuff like that. I still think he's a good quarterback.
You got to call a spade a spade when it happens, yeah.
Yes, exactly, man. It's a spade, man. I can't defend him on this one, man. I'm in PA, so you know how I'm walking around my head down, So, and also want to say to people though, that over the years I watched him win 3 Super Bowls, so I lived through that era. I was a teenager, so I've seen the Super Bowls over the years, and I had to ask this question: what happened 20-odd years before Dak? We got to look at that too. We're like, all right, Dak, he played back. We had all this talent over 20-odd years and the same thing. So then we have to dig deeper than just the quarterback sometimes. Like, okay, then we had good teams over 20-odd years. What's the problem? It can't just be the quarterback.
The common denominator.
Exactly. Yes. And I agree with you. You spoke a point where, like, when people think you defending Dak when you're really not defending Dak, you have to look deeper too. And I like the way you look deeper beyond that. You got to look beyond that because the front office to Jerry Jones being the only GM that's always in the spotlight, all that stuff is distractions, man. I think it's more distractions than anything. Then OBJ hype. We always in the limelight. Like it's like it's more about views and money. The brand. It's So it's all that is a part of it too. So we, as Cowboys fans, we feel let down, but try to look at this thing in a whole and dig a little deeper than just the quarterback, man. It's the organization, man, as a whole. Is
I applaud you, but good luck. I mean, Tom, that's Toxic Tom's whole moniker, right? But I applaud you, but good luck, that happening today. That's not going to happen today.
Yeah.
Right? Like that. I mean, actually, I heard a conversation on TV today where they brought that up a little bit. So I shouldn't say that. And a couple callers have called in, specifically Tom. But good luck. That's all I'm going to say. The day after is most people are going to be talking about what happened as opposed to the big picture. So that's understandable.
Yeah. And then one more thing. Yeah, we do need to add. We need to give Dak a chance. I think they failed him a little bit this year too with the weapon. I've seen it. We all gonna be optimistic about our team, but in the beginning, I watch the show all the time, and we had that feeling being optimistic, but at the same time, we seen it coming. I seen them go a little. I wanted them to go a little further, deeper into. Even if we went to the NFC championship.
Yeah, that was my ceiling.
Still deep in my heart. Yeah, but still deep in my heart, I still didn't see us winning the Super Bowl. I wanted to see the NFC championship just with the team. Yeah, I just didn't see us having that team that enough explosive players, because we have great individuals, but units, we don't have good units like a full linebacker core or a full cornerback. It was always spots, Then when you look at across the field at 49ers, they have good units, and the Eagles, they got good units. It's not just individual player here, oh, he's good, or he's good. We don't have a good. I just didn't see us getting over that hump as winning the Super Bowl this year. I was optimistic. At the same time, we wanted to see that, but you still had that gut feeling in the back, like, man, we just don't have enough explosive players. Like something is still missing. You didn't want to say that. You just still wanted to see, us go further. But it's just like something is missing. It's just like every quarterback. Man, I want to kill this.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. No, finish. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I just wanted one more thing. I'm gonna let you go. Kind of the other callers. They have to kill that narrative that good quarterbacks don't need pieces around. That's a bold-faced lie. Stop falling into that garbage. Like, please stop it. He could do it, carry the team by himself. He's a quarterback. He's supposed to carry the team by himself. Man, no quarterback done that. Not even Tom Brady. He always had pieces around. They had a good coaching staff, and always from the front office to the back end. And you got to think about it. The same teams have won the Super Bowl time and time again in the past 20 years. And we got 5. How many teams have caught up to 5 Super Bowl championships in the last 20-something years?
Just 2. Think
about it. Just 2. Exactly. It's 32 teams, so it's not easy as people make it seem like, oh, it's just easy. No, it's not, man. If that was the case, all the other teams will have a lot of Super Bowls. Eagles only got, one since how many years? You got to think about that. You got to think, come on. They got one since, 60 years, and then you got other teams that never even won a Super Bowl. So, it's not that easy, man. And I hope we do better next year. And, great show, man.
Appreciate you, man. Yeah, I've been talking about that. Seems like 20 years. Back when I was defending Tony, from this organization. And he had his moments, he had his years where he had that talent and whatnot, but the whole conversation of, well, you don't need this and that. Well, let's just stop it. Stop it. Not too many quarterbacks are winning 4 games in a row alone, right? You need some form of, call it the 3 pillars, right? Obviously, the talent, the coaching, and the front office. You need a combination of both of those things to work hand in hand. I think to rattle off 3 or 4 games in the postseason, if you are at a deficit at one of those areas, specifically when it comes to game day, the 2 areas that we're talking about, coaching and talent. And if not, if you can't rattle off 3, like yesterday, you got to at least rattle off 1. And it didn't happen, Cowboys Nation. And here we are. And usually we try to do a focus, but maybe we'll switch this one up to fan focus moving forward. We got to find out a new one here. Dubai Sky is gone. Doppelganger Sky didn't get us the dub. But if you're one of 39 million men suffering from ED, Boston Scientific has created edcure.org to help you find your best cure. To get started, go to edcure.org, take the quiz, and learn your severity or risk of ED. If you have a condition that puts you at a higher risk, you'll find customized content. Fastest way to find your best cure is to contact an ED specialist by browsing a list of experienced physicians in your area. So visit edcure.org, brought to you by Boston Scientific. I hate that. I hate that. Army Mom, you said it's become a tradition. Maybe it has. We did the way back in, maybe it was August, September. John Machota put out a fantastic article. He does it every year, apparently. We'll do it again next August, or this August, where one of the questions, it was a fan questionnaire. One of the questions was, where do you see them finishing? And I kind of tweaked it. I said, I think their floor was the wild card round. That's the floor. At the very least, get to the wild card round. Ceiling was NFC Championship. And I hate predicting, right? I don't like to do predictions because I want to see what the team looks like. But I was just putting everything. Well, what if everything comes together? Will they, in the playoffs, have enough, do enough, coach enough, play well enough for 4 games to win a Super Bowl? Realistically, I wear 3 hats. Fan, analyst, reporter, whatever. I took my fan hat off and said, I just couldn't see it. Not as currently constructed. But of course, I'm rooting for it. Of course, I rode that ride throughout the season. And it was a hell of a ride, man, because after week 1, we were all down. Very, very down. Next game, we do week-to-week predictions on game day. I said I didn't think they'd beat the Bengals, and they pulled that out. And I don't think I picked against them the rest of the season because they showed me something. And it sucked that it ended the way it did, Cowboys Nation. But it was an enjoyable ride throughout the season. We aren't done here. We are not done. We'll continue this conversation tomorrow and likely later on today on Vosh Lombardi Live over on the Volume. And then our guy Mo will be on handling A to Z Sports Prime Time. I'm gonna continue to drink some tea. I gotta get some tea and try to get back right. I'm over the first hurdle of what was going on with me last week, hence why I'm here. But I want to be able to provide some more quality shows moving forward because we're about to hit that off season next week, maybe later this week, but probably next week. We'll do more off-season content. The draft is coming up. Free agency coming up. Free agency first. The draft. Got to deal with contracts. Maybe we'll do some superlatives. A whole lot of different content for the offseason. That's where the creativity really comes in. We'll try to switch some things up and still provide one of the top morning shows for Dallas Cowboys content, whether you're upset or not, whether you're a Cowboy fan or not, whether you're one of the Cowboy fans who hate the Cowboys. If you're here, you must enjoy something. You must enjoy something about what we do here. You must enjoy talking to the community. You must enjoy, you don't got to enjoy the takes, but the content. Maybe you enjoy the content. And if you do that, man, do me a favor. Hit that like button. If you're just coming in here just to troll, I appreciate the engagement too. Hit the like button if you're going to troll. If you want to troll some more, come on back. Hit the subscribe button. But if you actually enjoy quality content and want to, be a part of putting out quality takes or opinions, whether we agree or not, and not just kind of like petty or trolly, which you're more than welcome. Come on, man. Come on through. All of that is here. All of that is here. We'll pick up this conversation tomorrow, and I'm gonna get up out of here because starting to come down on me. The adrenaline was high, now it's starting to come down. So Cowboys Nation, I'm gonna get up out of here and press this button. I'll try to pick back up later. Like I said, I'll be on the Volume. That'll be interesting. It's a whole different feel over there, so that'll be interesting, man. I'll see y'all then. Love you, Cowboys Nation. Peace.
Bomb Squad!